Hi, in this video I'll be going through some theme customization to apply some branding to the site, and then that'll be compiled up using Gulp, and then the site will be published to Azure using the CI and CD GitHub Actions. So here we have the template with the original branding, so you can see it's got the text and the logo there, and the logo in text of the template in the tab. And then if I scroll down to the bottom, you can see the footer text here is the thank you for creating with Phoenix, and then the version number there. So when I created this Azure website, I hooked it up to the main branch of the GitHub instance, and what it did was it created the workflow CI/CD YAML file there. So I can go through that in Visual Studio Code in a second, but what we'll do is we'll reapply the branding to this site. So I'll just go into a copy of the code on my local machine. So I use something called Git, Tortoise Git. So that's basically the same thing as or just a wrapper for Git. So I'll just go on show log. So what I'll do is I'll reapply those changes that I've made in here. So I'll just commit those changes. So what we can see here is that there are a number of different icon files that were changed, and some images and some layout changes, some mixins for the SAS, and then some styles. So I'll just commit and push that up to GitHub. So that's gone to GitHub there. So just go back into GitHub here, and I'll just refresh, and you can see that we've now got the CI/CD action now running. So if I just go into here, you can see that it's now initializing the build tasks, and just running a few things to set up the container, which is just an Ubuntu container in there. So in a second it will just complete all of these tasks, so we'll just wait for that to finish. It shouldn't be too long, so that's now done. So now it's just checking the code out from GitHub so that it can install an npm package for the integration to Azure, and then once that's completed, it will start to run some of our tasks here. So I created an additional step, which was this gulp task for live. So that just runs a gulp task with the parameter of live, which again I'll just show you in the Azure the Azure workflow YAML file in Visual Studio Code. So it's just running the tasks now, the gulp tasks. So it's cleaning the folder, and it's doing the build, and then it's going to compile up all of the SAS files, and just beautify the HTML and minimize the JavaScript files. So this is going to take a while, so I'll just pause the video and then come back to it in a second. So now you can see it's just finishing up some of the public facing pages. So this template's got quite a lot of pages in here. So we've got the authentication stuff, which allow customers to sign in, create an account, etc. So that's finished. So now it's going to move on to the build and deploy to the Azure static website. So it's just packaging up the artifacts, and then it will start to publish that to the Azure site. So it's done one of the upload processes, so it should just finish up in a second, and then it will run some post actions if we've got any. We haven't particularly got any in this example, but if this was another application, we might have some different things in there to initialize the database, run some migration scripts, that sort of thing. So hopefully it's just finishing off now, and yep, there we go. So it's just published that to the site, and now it's run it as post actions. So if you just go back to the site and just refresh that, you can see that we've got the logo now and the branding there for the text, and then in the tab we've got the logo icon and the eMuseum text there. And if I scroll down to the bottom, you can see we've now changed the footer to be the Powered by eMuseum and copyright gallery systems there. So if I just jump into Visual Studio Code, and I'll just pull down the changes that we've made, just so we've got the latest copy. So that's pulled that down. So if I just go in here, what we can do is we can go into the source folder here, which is where all of the template source files are changed and compiled from into the CSS files. So in here we've got the light theme, so you can see here this is the text that I changed, so I can just change that to F8 and make that red text, and then I can kind of run through the gulp actions in a second. So that's the actual theme files within there. And if I just go into the actual pug files, so in here we've got the layouts. So in here we've got the title there that was changed, and if I go into the mixins, we can see in here we've got common file. So we've got the logo there with the alt tag gallery systems logo text there, and then we've got the footer text. So we've got the powered by text there, eMuseum, and the gallery systems there. So if I was to just run the gulp task, so this is using these gulp scripts, JavaScript files here. It's just the standard way for web developers to compile up these SAS and CSS files. So I'll just run that, and that'll just run through the tasks, and it'll clean, build, and compile it locally. It's a bit faster than running the live gulp action, because it's just locally, and so we can just refresh that, and hopefully in a second we should see that the text changes. Just double check that I saved that file. Yeah, didn't save it, so hopefully. So yeah, you can see that text changes colour from black to red. So if I go back to Visual Studio Code and just go back to the files in here, and just go to the Azure YAML file, so you can see in here this is the step that I added, so that just runs the live version of that gulp command when the Azure the GitHub action runs to publish to Azure, so that we get everything compiled up. So that's pretty much it. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks, bye.